Hello and welcome back. Time to jump on the next sub-storyline mission. Now this one is one of my personal favorites, the Elite Squad, mostly because it does offer very nice loot, it offers very nice reward, and it is required to do one of the more difficult Caldari storyline missions. And here you are going to be facing a lot of tier 7 battlecruisers, which do require a decently built cruiser or a long-range destroyer to complete. You can use a frigate to complete these, but I would go with a assault frigate because they are very fast, and I think their special module allows them to have higher resistances and higher speed. I have to check that out when I get one assault frigate myself. Now you have to be prepared to do a long warp when you accept this mission, because for some reason it has to be located at the other end of the system, and that will eat a lot of the capacitor of the vast majority of ships that we do have in the game. So if you are going to do this mission in close range combat, you should go and take a capacitor battery, or you should put at least one or two Nosferatus. But since I am in a Vexor navy, I will be shooting down these enemy ships with drones mostly. Now as you can see, I warped in and I was greeted by two battlecruisers and one frigate, one destroyer and two cruisers. Now of course it is the usual thing to target the closest ship and to keep range from these battlecruisers. Now they are not going to have the range to damage your ship from 45 kilometers, but in the next wave there is going to be one cruiser that will have around 65 kilometer range, and in the next wave you are going to have a elite frigate that should be your primary target, because that frigate is indeed very fast. It does carry a disruptor and can be a problem if your ship is slow and if it doesn't have the tracking to hit the target at close range. But in my case, I do use drones as my primary DPS source, and the drones are doing a decent job. Combined with my decent skills now, the drones do have decent tracking, they do have decent range, and they do have decent DPS. Speaking of drones, I know that a lot of you would like to see PvP, and trust me, I myself would want to do PvP, but as you know, currently in the game we do have a lot of gate camps around the map. Now I'm not complaining about the camps. In EVE Online we also have gate camps, but the gate camps over here are kind of a lot more often, and they do discourage a lot of people to do anomalies, and they do discourage a lot of people to actually go in low sec and null sec, and that makes PvP a lot harder. Now I do have around 375 DPS with this ship, which is not bad. It will be increased to 450 very soon, and that is with most of the damage amplifier modules activated, and I have to say they do a very good job. This ship that I currently fly is equipped mostly with faction equipment, and the faction equipment does improve the overall DPS and the overall survivability of the ship quite a lot. The only thing that isn't faction equipped on this ship are the drones. I use Mark 5 Vespas. At the moment there is no faction medium drone on the market, And if there were, I guess that they would go for a price of, I think, 150 million ISK, which is half the price for one battlecruiser at the moment. And I am saving for a battlecruiser, so I cannot afford to buy a faction drone. They are very expensive for odd reasons, but I guess their price is kind of justified. It is hard to make drones, and the blueprints for drones are also rare. But I'll be patient, and I guess hopefully soon I'll get my hands on a battlecruiser, and I'll also hopefully get my hands soon on Mark 7 medium drones, which will help me a lot. Okay, that Ferox isn't having a good day. These drones are making Swiss cheese out of his armor. Speaking of drones again, soon I am going to be able to use 5 drones, which means my DPS will be increased by +1 drone. I think 1 drone gives me around 70 or 75 DPS, and that is a nice increase over the current 4 drones that I can control. Now, I do have 2 weapons, 2 railguns equipped on the ship, but I don't use them much. I use them only when there is a frigate that is approaching me, because in that situation I can track and hit the frigate without much of a problem. And of course, this is the Vexor Navy, and they don't have a nice tank. They're mostly ships that should be used only with drones as their primary source of DPS, but you can also make them a decent tank, and you can make them be used at close ranges with the primary weapon. But I just do like to use this ship this way that I'm currently using it. And when I buy the next ship, which will be I'm thinking either a Brutix or a Myrmidon. I mean, the Myrmidon is using drones, and it has 3 high slots, which means I can make the ship use both weapons and drones. But I'll still think about it. If you have any recommendation on what battlecruiser I should take, feel free to tell me in the comments. I'll be listening to your advices as I always do. Well, that one battlecruiser became a wreck. Time to transform the next battlecruiser into a wreck. I have to say, this mission does also offer very nice ISK rewards. You should get around, I think, around 2.5 million ISK just from these rats alone. Plus 4 million ISK as the mission reward. That is roughly 6.5 million ISK, which is nice, and it is very decent per mission. It is almost half of the reward of the lowest grade storyline mission, which is indeed very impressive. Well, these drones are making Swiss cheese out of that battlecruiser. Okay, 2 cruisers are now left. The Osprey is a very good looking ship, I have to admit. Now, I know that ship is a logistic. It is a ship that is used to restore the fleet's shield and armor, but that ship does look very nice, and at the moment I think on the market the Osprey is at around 250 million ISK, which is, I have to admit, it is indeed quite expensive. Those ships are at the moment very expensive. Most ships are. I mean, a classic battlecruiser is almost sold for $500 million. Then I don't know, that actually is kind of too expensive. Because I know in EVE Online, when I last checked, a Tornado is sold for around 44 million ISK, for example. I remember seeing a battlecruiser for 80 million ISK in EVE Online. Over here, the prices are times 10, which is kind of interesting, and it makes me think if I should get a battlecruiser right now, because they are kind of too expensive for my taste. But again, I might be wrong, and I am still going to save up ISK. Who knows, I might even decide for a Gila. I might even jump straight to a Gila, I don't know. I am really at the moment in the mood to save up 1 billion ISK and to just get a Gila. I mean, with a Gila or a Cinnabal, I would be able to do a lot of the missions and PvP. Those ships are one of my personal favorites, and they are kind of my goal, so who knows, I might decide to go straight to those faction ships. I mean, I can save up a lot of ISK for them. I do have a very nice Vexor navy that is doing a very good job. Now, my apologies for getting carried away with the faction cruisers. There is the elite frigate that should be also my primary target now. Just keep an eye on the range. Just keep an eye on the range of this ship, and just look how quickly the ship will approach me. It is already within my drone range, and I know I did approach the ship and that frigate did also approach me, but oddly enough, somehow I am able to keep a decent 44 kilometer distance from that frigate. I don't know how. I remember last time that frigate did reach my stabber. My stabber was going around 1.9 kilometers per second, and that frigate did manage to catch up to my stabber, but it can't catch up to my slower Vexor navy, which is kind of odd, but I am not going to complain. I don't have to witness the frigate using a disruptor on my ship, and that is less stress for me. I mean, whenever I see the disruptor icon above the shield there, I kind of get a slight anxiety attack for weird reasons. I guess that's just the consequence of doing a lot of PvP from my end. Oh well, that frigate has been shot down, and now the rest of the ships should be easy targets, and you don't have to worry about a lot of these ships. Now, let me just check what's in the wreck. Really? I got nothing. Okay, that's not nice. That's not fair. Alright, well, I didn't expect to see that. Oh well. Now, the next target will be that Moa Guardian, and yep, you saw that correctly. That Moa Guardian does have 40 kilometer range, and I did eat a full salvo of long range missiles, which means that ship will be my primary target now, because I would be too paranoid to have a long range pirate ship shooting at me, so I'm going to make this ship my primary. And if you see this ship getting too close to you, make it your primary target. I used to do that in my stabber, but in my stabber I used to wait for the elite ship to get close to me, and then I did engage in combat with the elite ship, and then I did slowly approach the rest of these ships, and I did shoot all of them down one by one. Now here I'm doing a similar tactic, but this time they are approaching me and I am keeping my range because I do use drones as my primary source of DPS. Now, like I did mention before, this mission is indeed doable with a destroyer. All you need to have here is range above 30 kilometers, because the battlecruisers have a range up to, I think, 28 kilometers, but I'm not quite sure. I do remember getting shot by these battlecruisers from 28 kilometers, but as soon as I did reach the 30 kilometer limit, they didn't have range, and I was mostly safe from their firepower. Then in the second wave, the only problem was that Moa Guardian that did have range, and after you shoot down that Moa Guardian, you should be safe from all the other ships if you target the 30 kilometer range for this mission. Now the next target will be this frigate. Oh my god, whenever I see this hull design, it gives me kind of a reminder on the Worm. The Worm is one of the most powerful frigates in this game, and used to be one of the most overpowered frigates in the game. If you remember, in the first beta back at January, the Worm was one of the most flown ships because it could easily get over 1000 DPS, and it was also very tanky, and it was also very fast. Now the ships are mostly balanced, and the Worm is not representing that much of a threat. Although the ships do have a very high reputation, and they are still feared from a lot of players. But if you fly, for example, a arbitrator, and if you fly any other ship that uses Nosferatus or neutralizers, then the Worm will be a easy kill, because you can mute it or you can just nos it until its capacitor is empty, and then you can slowly take the ship apart. And hopefully I'll be able to do that very soon, but at the moment I don't know what ship to get as my next ship, so I really need your advices on which ship I should get right now. I am indeed prepared to be flying the Vexor Navy for a very long time if I have to, if I want to save up for a Gila or a Cinnabal. Those ships are my goals after all, and those ships are one of the best ships in game. Especially the Gila. I did look at the bonuses, and I will not lie, the bonuses on the Gila are actually scary when you look at them. They offer insane performance boosts, and that ship will be very fun to fly. Alright, well, that battlecruiser is not having a good day. The drones absolutely took it apart. These drones are doing such a good damage, and to think that these are only Mark 5 drones makes me kind of scared to think what the faction drones will do, combined with the skills that I'm currently going after. And I think that this navy would have 600 or 700 DPS with the same fit if I were to have maxed skills and faction drones, which is decent. And that is kind of scary to think if the ship can get such DPS, which would mean that the price for this ship might also go up. Now, one way that I did notice how I can make decent amount of risk, I did buy several ships when they were cheap, and at the moment those ships are very expensive. So if I were to sell those ships that I did buy, I would make a profit of around, I think, 50 or 60%, including with the taxes, of course. And That is interesting. And at the moment I can make around maybe 300 million ISK if I were just to sell some ships that I did buy. Which is interesting. And if you are looking to conquer the market, I think a lot of people are actually already doing that. Buying stuff when it's cheap and selling stuff when it's expensive. And that way I think I can also make quite a decent amount of ISK. But I do like all of my ships that I have, and it is kind of difficult for me to sell them, especially after I used to fly them and after I did have fun flying them. But I don't know, maybe if a Gila appears on the market I might buy one. I don't know. But in any case, I am at the moment looking for a decent recommendation on what ship to buy next. A ship that will surpass the Vexor Navy in performance. And it is kind of difficult to choose, so I am looking for advices from you to see what you think about what my next ship should be. Alright, well, this is the last standing battlecruiser here, and the mission after this ship should be completed. Let's find out. Well, the mission is completed. That is 4 million ISK in my pocket more, and overall with that you also can get very decent loot, which you can use or you can sell. It depends from person to person, and of course from player to player. Okay, well, I hope that you enjoyed. It is a pleasure to record and play this game for you. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Fly safe, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.